The developer team for Brawl Stars just conducted an interview on Reddit, and they answered a bunch of questions about future plans, when Carl is potentially going to be released, why Life Leech was removed, how to solve teaming in Showdown, and more. So let's go over them and make sure we don't miss a thing. So as I said, the dev team hosted what's called an Ask Me Anything, AMA, on Reddit. We got Frank, the team lead for Brawl Stars, and the two community managers for Brawl Stars, Ryan and Danny, who is new to the team. Here's all three of them. Danny on the left, Ryan in the middle, and Frank on the right. So we're going to go through all their questions that were answered. Sorry, they didn't ask the questions. We asked the questions. They gave the answers. We're going to go through everything. Also, quick aside, I'm hosting a competitive Siege tournament on my Twitch at 3 p.m. Eastern if you want to stop by and check it out and see what competitive Siege looks like. Now, let's go into the questions. Why did they remove Life Leech? They said Life Leech was removed because it breaks the core mechanic of the game. Showdown is now unlocked really early for players at 30 total trophies, and Life Leech just was too big of a change for how Brawl Stars was played. They thought it was confusing for people to be suddenly just losing health for no apparent reason. Now, I mean, you could read the description for Life Leech. I do think that might be asking a lot of some people, but, well, I guess that's the only real way to figure out how Life Leech worked, was to read the description. That's kind of right. If you played a game, there were no rules that popped up and said, hey, you're losing health, you got to go shoot someone to gain it back. Now look, Life Leech, I complain a lot about it not being in the game, and it's by far my favorite modifier out of all of them in the game. I don't think any of them even compare close to Life Leech, in my opinion. So I'm so sad that it's gone. Guys, please help me find a solution to make it make more sense for new players. I do understand where they're coming from. I do think that's not a good enough reason to not have it in the game because of how much people enjoy it and how many people enjoy it. So please, guys, let's find a solution for this, and I need your help. Put down some ideas you have down below in the comments, but let's keep moving in this interview. One question that wasn't answered, I thought was kind of funny though. Are there plans on adding any new buttons to the end screen? Currently there's play again and there's exit, but I'd like to propose an intermediate button such as play again without these clowns. Honestly, sometimes that's kind of like true. Like maybe you want to press play again, but not with the people that's going. And also too, sometimes I want to press play again, but only with like one of the people in that group. And I'm like, all right, like please, just the good person press play again. I don't want to play with this whole team, just one of you. Unfortunately, that's not really an option, and I don't think there's a real ability to make that an option. But anyways, can we expect to see changes in the daily reward system and a rework to the shop? They said they will be sprucing up the shop at some point, but that's a bigger task, and that's going to take some time. So it's on their agenda, but it's not that high on it. It sounds like at some point, maybe like more box types would be cool. There's been some suggestions like that on Reddit. Here's a great question. Can they keep up the frequent updates? I mean, they've had an update like 2 in a row every month, which is amazing. And that's honestly totally unprecedented for Supercell for any of their games. So great question. And they said they want to. It's not up to how much they can produce. They said they're going to try. No real answer. And I don't really know how you can actually answer that question any better than that. All right, here's what you want to know. Well, when is Carl going to be unlocked? Well, Carl will be launched in the middle of the month. Same as Gene. Actually, it's going to be a little bit later than that, but in March still. So not an exact answer, but we do have it narrowed down. It's not going to be exactly in the middle of the month. Sometime later than that, but still in March. So it sounded, I think earlier in the Brawl Talk, they said mid-March. So it's just going to be a little bit later than mid-March, I guess, which is honestly, I feel like that gives us a couple days of a time range of when Carl's going to be unlocked. So that's pretty cool to know. Someone asked for a word associated with the next update, and Frank said, green. What? So we got an update hint. And Frank says, the word is green. Green? Green eggs and ham? What is going on that's green? Here's my guess. St. Patrick's Day. Come on, that's the greenest of things, St. Patrick's Day. Guess what day that is? March 17th. Update, March 17th. Do we know the update day? Is it going to be March 17th? We did hear that Carl is coming sometime after mid-February. But that's kind of mid-February. It's maybe like a day after or 2 days after. But like, is that the update day? Or is there gonna be like, wait, they gave us the skins for this update, so I don't really think there's gonna be a St. Patrick's Day skin, although that would be super cool, especially as a surprise skin add-on. Like, that would be dope. But what do you think it could be if it's not St. Patrick's Day? All right, now here's the question for Solo Showdown. There was a lot of questions here asked, but they basically just answered the Solo Showdown question, so let's go right into that. First of all, teaming and Showdown. So it's a big question, so they got to have a big answer to try and figure it out. So what they're doing in this, honestly, is they're going through potential solutions and how well it would work or how well it wouldn't work. But they're setting it up first off. So sometimes they say in Showdown, a couple brawlers may team up to better their odds against the others, but at some point they have to betray each other. And generally speaking, they're cool with that. They think it's an interesting tactical decision to decide when to betray someone. However, as you get higher in Showdown, it sort of changes, and that's not exactly how it happens in those high-level Showdown matches. They're sort of dominated by teams, and you can't really succeed without spinning, and that's the sort of thing they don't really like. So, are they going to fix teaming? Well, they said the answer is as complicated as the problem. First things first, they don't have a perfect solution, then, and they need our help to find it. So guys, suggest solutions you have, but listen to this first before you suggest your solution, okay? Please listen to this. So here's some potential solutions, right? Banning teamers. This is a common one. This isn't a great solution. First of all, they're not sure that they can even detect teamers with a high degree of accuracy, which of course is very, very important to be able to do that. If you make false bans, that's honestly even worse than anything else. If they ban spinners, people are just going to use a different signal to determine teamers, like shooting a wall or shooting away from someone, maybe just moving left, maybe just moving right or something, doing a shimmy, whatever. There's different ways to make a signal. All spinning is a signal that you want to team with someone. You can make different signals. So if they ban people who are near each other but don't shoot for a certain amount of time, they can overcome that by just staying a certain amount of tiles away. Even if they could be 100% accurate and fast with the bans, it still feels wrong though, they think. Ultimately, players are playing in the construct that they've built for them. So they think putting up artificial rules and then banning for them is a bad experience. So they don't really want to go the banning route. Personally, I also think that makes sense just from a manpower standpoint. As far as being able to accurately determine the bans, I think would take a lot of manpower. Supercell is famous for their small teams, so I don't really think that's a solution that fits within their team. What about offering trophies for kills? And I actually have some additional thoughts on this too. All right, they've thought about this a lot, and they think there's a few issues with this. First of all, it really changes the strategy of the mode. Showdown is supposed to be a survival mode with the end goal of being the last person alive, but if now you're getting trophies based on kills, your goal sort of changes a lot. So it's almost meaningless at the end of the game to be in those last couple people when there's only a few people left. There's less potential for trophies. It would also feel pretty bad to get kills stolen by other players, and also this would heavily favor certain brawlers who can get that final shot. And I think this is really true. The meta would be completely different. There are definitely brawlers who are much better at getting kills than other brawlers. I think it would make Showdown honestly a pretty stale meta in my opinion. And finally, they said they're not even sure that that sort of thing would actually stop teaming, because even still, if you're on a team, you're still going to be in a stronger position than you would be otherwise. So I said it's a great idea, but in practice, they don't think it would have the intended effects on teaming. And as far as on teaming, I really agree, because if you think about it, it's honestly kind of already in the game indirectly. Like if you're on a team and you kill someone, you're actually gaining a trophy equivalently, like as opposed to it goes from 7 people to 6, for example. Now you're getting 1 more trophy than you would have otherwise. Indirectly, not exactly the intended way it happens, but it's true. You eliminate a person, you gain a trophy. It's already how it kind of works. They actually go over deleting Showdown. Like, what the heck? I can't believe they brought this up. They said this would be the nuclear option, and they would like to avoid this if they can. 84% of players who have Showdown unlocked play the mode at least once a week. I think that's a really interesting stat. I'm gonna have to talk about that later in a different video maybe. So clearly the game mode is very popular, and they want our ideas to help fix it. And that was from the community manager, Ryan. Now Frank offers his thoughts. He Said one idea is to entirely remove the rewards for surviving and focus on kills. This makes it sound more like a free-for-all deathmatch mode without respawning. They said, actually, that does sound kind of cool, but that's sort of just like a different game mode, so they're not really sure about that. And then Frank sort of touches on the having trophies for kills system, and he adds on to it essentially by saying, it's not really quite as intuitive as you would think for explaining the scoring system, and he doesn't really think it would address teaming, so he wants our ideas as well. Also, on top of that, if you guys have some really good ideas that the community likes, they might actually allow us to test them in-game for a weekend. That's what he says. We'll test them together with you guys, for example, during a special weekend. What? So that's really cool. So hey, throw out your ideas because we may actually be able to test them in game. Okay, what about coins? I have over 116,000 coins. So if someone brings this up, are you gonna do something about coins? Like, come on guys, they're worthless once you max your brawlers. So yeah, Frank says, yeah, look, we're gonna do something, and they already have a few ideas, so that's pretty cool. But there are some other prerequisites they have to take care of beforehand, and it's not their highest priority. Currently, only about 1% to 2% of our players are in this situation, and Frank is in that situation, so hey, he understands. Got two questions from Maths11 here. How many brawlers do they think they're aiming for in, say, the final version? How many brawlers do they want in the game? They said, well, they don't really have an estimated amount of brawlers that they want. They said it could reach 300. Basically, they said it depends on us, depends on you guys. You know, how many brawlers do you want? Said if it gets to the point where people no longer want new brawlers, they'll focus on other things. So it sort of depends on us. Right now, they're just going to keep on focusing on brawlers. I think that makes a lot of sense. Also asked, why did they remove the brawler lore? And are they going to add it back again? They really liked it. You know, like backstories for the different brawlers, for the different characters. Said actually they want to add this back to the game, and they're working on it. And it sounds like, I think what it was honestly is they didn't like the brawler lore they had in the game, so they removed it, and now they're essentially buffing it up. They're making it a lot more interesting and fun, and they'll add it back to the game when they've got it to the point they like. That's sort of what it sounds like. Now here's a really interesting question. Are they gonna have any collaboration potential in the future of Brawl Stars? Sort of like Thanos in Fortnite, something like a Ghostbusters Pam skin or a Star Wars Colt skin. Do you think that's possible in the future of Brawl Stars? I said yes, they do think it's possible, which is sweet. So throw out your ideas for potential collaborations because let's make it happen. They said they have nothing planned at the moment, but they do want to actually do that. What about like Neo Colt or Groot Spike? Oh, I think there's a lot of amazing possibilities, and I would love to see this happen. What about brawler remodels? We got a list of all the brawlers they want to do remodels for. Bo, Crow, Daryl, I guess just the base model for Daryl, so not like Dumpling Daryl, it sounds like, so probably not a big Daryl change. El Primo, Pam, Piper, and Tara, and then Frank, Jesse, and Penny are getting minor improvements, so that's kind of cool. Good to know this. Also, someone asked, should I buy White Crow before he becomes more expensive? Honestly, you probably should. Crow is a legendary brawler. I bet he gets a sweet new skin for White Crow, similar to Sakura Spike. Probably not a huge change, but yeah, I bet White Crow price does go up. Maybe even the El Primo skins as well, because honestly, I think the El Primo skins are kind of all really similar. So I wouldn't be surprised if those get buffed as well, so maybe buy those too while you're at it. I know I'm acting like everyone just throws out gems here, but hey, it's a dirty gemma world. Now that we are in global, how often can we expect them to pump out new brawlers? All right, well, we got one brawler for December and January. We got another for February, another for March. April? Are we getting one for April? So I said they're not really sure, but it depends on us, and also there's no set rule. It's not going to mean that they're going to have a new brawler every single month. It's going to depend on what they're focusing on. Maybe they want to focus on like new game modes or some other big thing in Brawl Stars and put less work on brawlers. So probably a lot of new brawlers in 2019, but not necessarily every new month. Oh, also someone asked about expanding the rewards in Trophy Road and maybe even adding more brawlers to it. Frank says, yeah, we're planning on expanding the rewards for Trophy Road, but not quite yet. There's not a lot of people who have that problem, and yeah, that makes sense. He also said they are planning on adding more brawlers to Trophy Road, which is sweet, and I definitely think a good thing for longevity in the game. Someone asked about adding a battle pass to Brawl Stars. If you guys didn't know, they had a survey in-game recently, and they asked our opinion on adding a battle pass to the game. Well, they said there's no actual plans for this at all yet. They honestly just wanted to know what we thought. of adding a battle pass. So yeah, definitely go. That survey, I'm pretty sure, is still in game. So if you want to go back and give your feedback, definitely go back and do so. I'm sure they would love to get more feedback. So someone asked a very specific question about a new brawler. Is there going to be a brawler that throws bombs and surfs? Danny says, okay, look, I don't think we have any plans like to do that. And then the community, I love them, says, hey, look, since you're new, Danny, I'm going to let you in on a secret here. In the files, there's this brawler that does that. That was so cute. Here we are educating the new Supercell employee on stuff in the in-game files. Like, all right, guys. Ryan says, look, guys, there's like a lot of random stuff in there, and that could easily be to something that's been in there for like years. Originally, Brawl Stars was actually space themed, so it could be from that. Sounds like a big no answer, and I don't really blame them. Like, they're not going to tell us who the new brawlers are before they even have like anything concrete on them. They're going to tease them just like they do any new brawler. So yeah. What about improving the UI, like the brawler skin selection or the party menu chat system? Honestly, I really want improvements to that too. Like also in friendly battles, the map selection, honestly, that whole thing could be a lot better. So absolutely, they do want to improve the UI, but it's kind of a big job, so it's going to take some time. So it sounds like not like right away anytime soon, but at some point we can expect some UI changes or UI improvement. What about any chances to add more wallpapers or music background for the main screen? And maybe even you can like earn them through Trophy Road or by buying them with gems. Frank says, oh yeah, we want to do more of that. And you can already sort of tell because they do that already. Like they've done that for different small updates, like the Lunar update, the Clash Royale birthday, they added stuff like that. So they do want to do stuff like that. But there's also like, you can't have Brawl Stars take up too much memory on your phone, so you can't have too many things like that potentially, but they're thinking about adding it. What about, do you already have new ideas for new brawlers? Said, yeah, they have a whole internal channel dedicated just to discuss new brawlers, and they have a lot of ideas already, and actually they look at our ideas a lot and add them to discuss them in that channel. So definitely, if you guys are suggesting ideas, they're paying attention, don't worry. What about, what is the point of joining a club besides to have friends and chat in one place? Yeah, they're like, all right, we know there's not that much point besides that sort of stuff. So they are hoping to improve reasons to be in a club, but it sounds like it's not in the immediate future. What about, will LTE support be fixed in the near future? So Frank actually posts, and I actually talked about this as well, his response to this on Twitter. They'd like to create a best practices guide around the topic soon, but from a technical perspective, there's no real issue. They monitor latencies, package drops, as well as frame rates, not network related for all players. There's a long list of potential issues. Your connection might not be as good as you would hope it would be. What about, is there any interest in bringing events or like things that promote club teamwork, like Clan Wars and Clash Royale, into Brawl Stars? Said definitely a lot of interest for this, but they haven't nailed down a solid idea yet. They brainstormed a lot, but they want to hear our ideas. And honestly, I think this is a really hard thing to think of a great, perfect idea for. So definitely throw out your ideas and see if you can think of a good one. If you want to see what competitive Siege looks like, stop by my Twitch at 3 p.m. Eastern until about 5 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.